Hey Latchkey kids and driving mutants, I'm Lady Shasha, Mistress of the Snark. And now Friday the 13th has fully landed in the 90s with Jason Goes to Hell, the final Friday. The first thing I noticed about this is that it is not made by Paramount, it's made by New Line Cinema. And it opens with definitive proof that the Crystal Lake in this is the one in Connecticut. You see that sign? It says Crystal Lake, Fairfield, and Westport. Here's a map of Connecticut. Here's Fairfield. Here's Westport, which has a great outlet mall, by the way. And this is the real Crystal Lake in Connecticut. I mean, it's not the only Crystal Lake. There's 179 places named Crystal Lake in the US. But this one in this movie is definitely Crystal Lake in Connecticut. So this one opens up with Jason being set up. And it's at this point that I realized that I have not rewatched this since it came out. I told a story about that experience on my Hey Internet, It's the Horror Tag video. So if you want to hear that story about watching this movie in the cinema when it came out in the 90s, go check out that video. So since this is my first time rewatching this, I'm noticing a whole lot of things I didn't notice the first time around. Like this girl's track shoes. Jason gets taken out by a militia, and for some reason his body gets transported to a morgue in Ohio. I also noticed that Kane Hodder made a cameo as one of the guards. Is it still called a cameo if it's in your own movie? Or is it just playing more than one character? I don't know. I'm calling it a cameo. Anyway, the coroner is examining Jason's body parts, and his disembodied heart starts to beat again. So he does the only logical thing, and that's eat the heart. Then these things start flying around his head, and it feels very much like Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare. Now he has become possessed by Jason, and this guy shows up who reminds me of this other guy from Halloween Part 6. Apparently he's a bounty hunter. Jason proceeds to jump from body to body, much like The Hidden. You notice how many other movies this movie is like. Then the bounty hunter goes into the diner, and when the waitress asks him what he'd like to eat, he orders a burger and then tells her that he's gonna kill Jason. Nobody asked though. It turns out that the waitress is Jason's half-sister, or her mother is his half-sister, and that's why he wants to kill her. How very Michael Myers of him. I mean, I'm not trying to say that Jason Goes to Hell borrows from a lot of other movies, but I'm saying it straight jacks these other movies. And the kills in this are even worse than the ones from Jason Takes Manhattan. It's all implied impalement cutaways and a little bit of blood splatter. So anyways, Jason jumps from body to body to body. Apparently he likes to have a clean shave, because before he jumps from the mortician into the sheriff's body, he shaves the sheriff. Oh, by the way, he's a worm. A very Night of the Creeps looking worm. The sheriff goes on to try to pass the Jason worm on to the waitress, and just as that's happening, her daughter calls her. I think she gets interrupted when her daughter calls her to introduce her to her new boyfriend while she's holding this hot, fresh baby. And I'm thinking, where's the father? Why do you already have a new boyfriend and this baby is not even walking yet? Never mind, I just said that. The hot and fresh baby is now suddenly older and has hair. And we do find out who the baby daddy is. Jessica's baby daddy gets arrested and accused of the murder of her mother. Does this even sound like I'm talking about a Friday the 13th movie? It doesn't, does it? The baby daddy meets the bounty hunter in jail and asks him questions. The bounty hunter wants to break his fingers for each answer he gives. Why? Jump to another scene inside of supposed Jason's family home, and there's like a Necronomicon Book of the Dead looking thing, like very Evil Dead looking book. And I guess it was put there by this television guy who wants to exploit the whole situation for his TV series. So he put the Necronomicon book in Jason's house. Why? I do see why I kind of like this as a teen, and it is this gore scene. Look at this ooey gooey goodness. This is what I'm here for. I love a good melting effect. This movie has a few scenes like that. Bones broken through skin, jaws dislodged. A guy gets his face put in a fryer later. These are things that I very much enjoy. And I'm happy to see this actor that I saw on American Horror Story Roanoke, and his TikTok is amazing. He is a joy to watch. But back to the gore. There's a great scene where someone gets their throat slashed and the Jason worm creature comes out the side of their neck. That looked great. It's so funny how much Jason's Final Friday is like Freddy's Final Nightmare. I spoke about the iconic ending of this movie in my Hey Internet, It's the Horror Tag video. But I will say, when this scene happened in the movie theater with Freddy's claw coming up out of the ground and grabbing Jason's mask, it promised a whole generation a movie that we weren't going to see for another 10 years. This is a bad movie. I can't even defend it because now I realize that my teenage brain was not fully formed, and that's why I enjoyed this. But rewatching it, this is horrible. Also, it's not part of my DVD box set that I have here. This only has 1 through 8. I ended up watching this on HBO Max, where I'm about to go watch Jason X. And I'll be back in a moment to tell you about that. Welcome back. Let's go into space with Jason X. This was also produced by New Line Pictures, and I was able to watch it on HBO Max because, of course, it's not part of my 8 movie set. This is another one that I actually got to see in the movie theater. Anyway, much like Hellraiser and Leprechaun, Jason had to go to space. It's not at all explained how they got Jason's body after he was dragged to hell in Jason Goes to Hell. Some doctors have Jason's body for reasons, and of course he wakes up and gets back to slashing. One doctor is able to fight Jason all the way back into a cryogenic freezer, but unfortunately he punctures it with his machete and she ends up frozen with him in the room as well. In the future, a team finds them, brings them back to their ship, and then thaws them out. Just when I'm thinking that their coats remind me of Dune, they walk out into this red sandy landscape. They thaw out the doctor that was able to cryogenically freeze Jason. Then one of the future people finds out who Jason was and that he could possibly make some money off of him. Jason, of course, comes back to life and does what he does best. This definitely has one of the most memorable kills of the entire series, and that's the dry ice face smash. That was executed so well. Fortunately, this movie doesn't take itself too seriously. There's some funny scenes, like when the android was trying on these false nipples to try to make herself appear more real. This scene with the sergeant was played for laughs.
It's gonna take more than a poke in the ribs to put down this old dog. Yeah, that ought to do it.
I'm pretty sure that's the same actor from Resident Evil, and I think he played a sergeant there too. And also this.
It's okay, he just wanted his machete back!
The set looks decent. The wardrobe, not so much. Their future clothes look very 90s. When I think about it, the movie with the best predicted futuristic clothing is The Fifth Element. You can't tell me that these 3 people don't look like they're on their way to Floston Paradise. Speaking of fashion, at one point Jason faces off with the android, who is dressed in the most impractical fight gear possible. The actual outfit that she had on prior to the fight was better. It was more practical to fight in. Anyways, it bothers my soul that the programmer said, I gave her an upload. I'm pretty sure he meant to say I gave her an upgrade. I wish she would have upgraded her wig. So anyway, she does decimate Jason, but his body parts land on this apparatus that kind of repairs tissue or replaces it with android parts, and Jason eventually comes back again. But now he's Robo Jason. I love that they use the holodeck to distract Jason and make him think he's back in Crystal Lake. And then we get to see another iconic kill, which was a callback to, was it Friday the 13th Part 7, where they did the sleeping bag kill? I'm gonna put them side by side so we can enjoy this together. Right here is the original sleeping bag kill, and then this is the sleeping bag kill from Jason X. He does this with so much more vigor this second time around. I remember the audience really loving this callback to Part 7. This was campy fun. I still find myself liking it. I probably would have shaved 10-15 minutes off of the runtime to make it a little bit tighter, but for a Part 10 in the series, it's pretty good. This concludes my Friday the 13th marathon. I will get back to Jason vs. Freddy, and I will also review the remake of Friday the 13th in October as part of my 31 Days of Horror. What did you guys think of Jason Goes to Hell, The Final Friday, and Jason X? I definitely like Jason X better than The Final Friday, but like I always say, don't take my word for it. Watch it for yourself. Just because I love something doesn't mean you won't hate it, and just because I hate something doesn't mean you won't love it. Until next time, bye. Hey, did you know that I work for tips now? You could hit me up on Venmo or Cash App. Well, I'm happy to receive the type of coin that jingles. I'd love to receive the type that folds. Somebody show these people where the subscribe button is. They don't know what they're doing.